Hey guys, RC here. We are back. I am not sure if I'm going to be able to fit all this into one video or if we will need to go possibly two videos. I usually try to keep my videos under 30 minutes. That just makes them easier for you to watch, more bite-sized content, and also for upload purposes and streaming purposes, it takes less time to get the content up for you to even see it. So we may cut this into two episodes. I don't think we'll have to go much further than that. This is number 4 in the tutorial series. The first one was dealing with association setup and coach setup. The second one was going through all of the various toolbars that you can see on the screen here, how to maneuver around through those, what all the screens look like, what they cover. So that was kind of in depth. And then last one was kind of a quick run through of getting started and using the advance button, this double blue arrow, which sometimes people don't know that that's what that does when they first get into the game if they have not played a Wolverine Studios game before. That's common in their games, so that's what that is. This one we want to get into recruiting. So we got our email that recruiting has begun. All right, where do we want to go with that? Well, we don't want to advance yet because we haven't done any recruiting. So the first thing you would have to do, let's evaluate our recruiters. All right, my first assistant handles scouting. My second assistant handles recruiting. And if I look, he is a 75. Okay, I am a 95. Okay, now these numbers will mean something to you shortly. Now, you cannot change their job title. The first assistant always handles scouting. Okay, so let's say that Cordell Flint, my first assistant, is my best recruiter. Well, that's my recruiter is my number 2 assistant. I would actually have to fire one of these other two guys, maybe my third assistant, then I could demote him right here. He would move down, opening up this slot. Then I could demote him up to here, and then he would change from scouting to recruiting and appear in this box. And then I would have a vacancy that I would have to hire somebody. I really wish you didn't always have to fire somebody. I mean, you might have the right 3 guys, but you can also see their salaries are different. Your worst assistant should be your cheapest guy. So at that point, do you want to pay $51,000 for a third assistant? Probably not. And he might not be happy with that. He might quit or leave the program at the end of the year. But anyway, that's getting off of the topic. I was wanting to focus on the stats. Okay, so we've got a 75 and a 95 for me. I'm just going to make a note of that so I can refer to those numbers later in the video. Now, we came up into the toolbar earlier and we said, hey, some of these are not working, right? Well, let's go take a look real quick. Rotation, AI suggest. Oh, look, it works now. Well, because we're into the season. Also, I think I determined a lot of the things did not work in the first 2 videos when we did this because I was an assistant coach. Now that I'm the head coach, I have control of this. So there's your AI suggest. We can come back and look at our depth chart. Again, I really think that AI suggest depth chart should be here, or at least secondarily here. And then we said, hey, what if we want to swap these guys out? Well, what does it say do? Click there, and look, boom, they swap places. All right, now they're back. So that's how you do it. And then it also said left click to go down, right click to go up. So over there, so you can see that's working again. Again, because I'm the coach, you do not control that as an assistant. Into recruiting. If you're not seeing any recruits, uncheck the box next to the filter you're watching, which is right here. So we're going to uncheck that and then press the update button. There we go. So this is every recruit in the country right now because we're displaying the national region. Now, there's a few ways to go about recruiting. No way is right or wrong. You know, some of this is just kind of playing around. All right, let's do a few things. Let's look at a couple of things. Right now, you'll notice it says we're in a quiet period. What does that mean? Well, if we view these key dates, or we could go up into the schedule, remember, and it showed it there. Quiet, which is right here, June 26th, quiet period. We can call recruits. We can watch game film, which gives us an insight to their ratings and statistics. And we can bring recruits to our campus for a campus visit. And each week or each period has a different time, and this ties in with real life, what the NCAA allows. So in a dead period, you can call or watch game film. You can call, watch game film, go watch a recruit in a game live so you can visit their campus and see them play, and then host a recruit for a campus visit. And in contact, you can call, watch film, have them come for a campus visit, or what's different here, you can actually have a home visit. You can go visit them at home. All right. Once you're into these, sometimes you'll see this close tab. So this is almost like a pop-up window that's over. You have to close that before you can get back to anything else. Watch that again. If I'm in here and I try to go here, well, it actually worked. Sometimes it will not. Okay, so that was a bad selection. Back into recruiting. All right, again, that'll be the default option. We're going to update that. All right, one other thing. They have added in a new option here called Quick Recruiting. Okay, what Quick Recruiting does, and I don't have anybody, it will only turn on when you have your watching and the box checked enabled watch list recruiting, which is this box here. But I don't have anybody on my list, so I have to add people first. But what that does is, instead of having to come in right here and double click on a player and being able to make all your selections from within the player card, it gives you the ability to do some of the basic recruiting, like add to the call list, from this screen here. It basically gives you a little side menu over this area here, overriding the state area here, and it'll look different, and we'll take a look at that in a little while, but you have to have players up first. So let's go back. Now we can recruit three ways here. We can click on a particular region. Okay, and we are where? The Atlantic East, remember? So we can click there, and it grays out the one that you're on. So right now we're displaying the national region. Okay, click on Atlantic East, displaying Atlantic East. So you get a confirmation. All right. We can also click on our book. Remember, we bought that report. If you did not buy a report, and this is only your gold reports, this will all be grayed out. So all the ones I did not buy, that's all these. And there's my Atlantic East report. And what did that tell us that it gave us? The top 200 players in our region, and there they are. Now, what's interesting about this, let's come down to number 200. It's this center, McRae. Let's open him up. Now, let's take a look over here. Here's his rankings. Now, you notice our book said he was number 200. Well, in the magazine, which is our book, his overall is, well, his regional ranking is 200 in the region. All right. By region, he is number 33 at his position. He is not ranked nationally. So he's number 200 in our region, but not ranked nationally. Now, if we look in the gold side, this is kind of, well, we've got the NFL draft coming up in about a week. Well, in a week exactly, actually. Uh, ESPN, Mel Kiper and Todd McShay are their draft gurus, and they do mock drafts. And you'll hear them talk about their big boards and, hey, he's the number 3 quarterback, and I have him as number 15 overall. That's what this is. This is a national reporting service that you don't have to buy. Basically, this is what you would be using as a poor school with no budget. They're number 949 in the country, number 164 by position, number 224 regionally, and number 40 by position. Now you can see they don't quite match up, but they're pretty close. And that's the sometimes to use the draft guru guys again. Sometimes Mel Kiper will say, well, I've got I've got this quarterback rated the second best quarterback going in the top 7, and McShay will say, no, I've got him ranked as the 4th best quarterback going in the top 20. Okay, that's kind of why there's a variation here. You have the people that write the book, and then you have the national scouts that give this input. So it's a little bit different. Now, I will tell you, these are pretty solid numbers. This is also, could be affected by your scouts as well, by your scouting ability, your assistant scouting ability. But these are pretty solid numbers to go by if you're looking for the ranking. Okay, so let's get out of there for a minute. We have to hit close. So again, we can hit our book, which is the Atlantic East book that we bought, and that gives us the top 200. You can go to the Atlantic East region. Now, watch what happens here. You notice this OVR changed, right? Okay, we can go up, and we do have a number 1, but we're missing number 3, number 5. Where are those guys? They're in different regions. So the number 1 overall rated player in the country is in our region. If we click on him, there we go. This is your national rankings, okay? Now, in this case, it matches up with your magazine. If we went and looked in our magazine, it would have him as well. But if we look at who was our number 200 guy here, McRae, and he's number 224 in the national. So if we go to the national or the regional look from the national service, he should be right up in here somewhere. Oh, no. Well, he should be right in there somewhere. Let's see if I can find him by name. McRae. There he is. 949 overall. Okay, that's his overall rating nationally. There he is, 949. I was thinking 224 regionally, but it was I was looking at the OV, which is the overall rating. So that's why he's there. All right, so it gives you more players to look at here. This is only those top 200 in your region. This is every player in your region. And it also is based on a different reporting service. This is the national service. This is only by this specialty recruiting service that you bought their book. What if you have a really low budget and you only can afford to recruit, or you want to try to recruit only your home state? Well, we could click on state here, and then we could look for Virginia. That's one way. The best way is to click on this map, and then here's our country, and there's Virginia. And if you're not sure, you can mouse over on the thing and it will tell you what state it is. So there's Virginia. We'll click on it, and now we're displaying by Virginia, and I can sort by OVR. Okay, now let's take a look at this guy. Let's just say Franklin. Says his OV is 140. And sure enough, on the national ranking, which is what the state goes by, he's number 140. He's also number 58 in our magazine. Okay? If you did not buy the gold edition magazine, you will not have this information. It will say NR, or NA actually. So if you do not buy a book, that will not appear. And you're more than welcome to go off of the national rankings in the gold box. That works just fine. It's just let's kind of look at something else here. Let's go down to, let's come down here to this guy, Jennings. He's number 318, 318 by position, 1562. You see how his top 10s is all question marks? Okay, I want you to remember that. Okay, all question marks here. Let's come up to Gordon, point guard, and look at his top 10. Notice the difference? It actually gives you all the schools in his top 10. This gives you the ability to determine automatically where you rank in the recruiting battles. Well, you're not in the top 10. He has some interest in you, but obviously he has more interest in these 10 schools. Are you number 11? Are you number 21? Well, we don't know the details there, but we can actually see if we have a shot at this player. Keep in mind, recruiting is a process. It will drag on, and you will, you will be able to build interest in some of these players. Oh, one thing to remember: always unclick this unless you want to use that new option. Okay. Now, I'm looking at Virginia. I think that makes sense for us. And I'm going to sort by OV, which is the overall ranking, and then I want to come and look at the interest column. The interest column will have one of 4 symbols. A minus sign means, let's look at white, no interest. Okay, no interest in your school, that's with a minus sign. If you have a single plus, like Franklin here, he has low interest. A double plus, like Epps, is some interest. And then if you have a triple, like Samuel, that's definite interest. Yes, he is. Now, we can still look at this guy. Oh, look, there we are. VCU, we're number 5 on his list. UCLA, Wake Forest, Texas, and UVA. All right, so that gives you an indicator of where you sit from that perspective. Now, you can recruit by state. You can recruit nationally if you want. It's up to you, but it does give you a lot of options. Now, here's the other thing. If we come to the national report, you notice in the interest column, a lot of these guys have a question mark. Well, that is because they are in different regions from where we bought our book. All we have to go off of is this national ranking, and we don't have any input on their top schools. Because we did not buy the basic or the gold report, we have no idea what their interest is. You can try to recruit these guys, but you have to be very aware that it's going to be a shot in the dark. Okay? Now, no matter which option you choose, okay, we're still in the national, okay, but I can click on interest. Remember, you can do that, and then we can actually sort by interest level. So we can see we've got one guy that has interest, quite a few guys that have some interest, quite a few more guys that have low interest but are interested, before we get into the I don't know category. Okay? Now, here's the next thing that I usually do. All right? Let's come up and just start at the top. So he's number 300 overall. He's number 65. And then if we come down to the lows, he's number 60. All right, so that tells me that somewhere around the number 300 player, I can probably recruit pretty effectively. Getting up into the 60 and 65 range, I'll have a shot, but probably no higher than that. And those are going to be long shots probably at best. So if I want to do that, but I want to focus in my neck of the woods, in Virginia, let's say, then I can go to, again, I can sort by interest level, or I can sort by OVR. Now, the first thing I normally do is I sort by interest, and I want to add all these guys to my list. Now, while you're on this screen, and here's something I had not done before, only on this screen, you can use hotkeys to expedite, okay? But let's click on Samuel. If we open him up, you can see we have the option to add to the call list, add to the watch list, and I'm going to show you something. You should be able to add him to the both list, but for some reason, whenever you first click into the player cards, that does not work. But if I go to the next player and then come back, now it shows up. That's a bug. I don't know why that's doing that. So, but that should be a bug, and hopefully they fix it. But if I'm in here, look, I'm going to hit the B key. I'm actually clicking it right now. You can't see me. Just trust me that I'm doing it, and nothing's happening. Okay, I can add him here. Okay. Or I can click on add to both and it'll do it automatically. And you see they turn blue. If you haven't done it, they're black. Now, here's another important thing here. In this top part, you can change these. Once you click the bottom part, that's locked in. That money is spent out of your budget and you cannot get that back. So make sure you're clicking on the right player you want before you click in the bottom here, because otherwise you lose that, and you only get 10 films a week and 3 host recruits on campus. When you scout live, you can do 4, and when you visit recruits, I think it's 4 as well. Okay, now I took him off because I want to show you the other option. So let's close this, and there's Samuel right there. You notice when I click on each player, the line turns gray. Now watch this. I'm going to hit the B key, and I want you to watch right here on my screen, right to the right of this word recruiting. Ready? Look at that. Oh, that's different. I got a private message from Wolverine. I hope it's not bad. But you saw that it popped up and it said he was added. So let's watch this. I'm going to go in, and sure enough, he's added. Now you can see again when I go in the first time, he's on both lists, but I don't have this line. But again, if I change it, boom, there it is. The third one shows up. Obviously a glitch in the coding, not a game breaker, not anything that's going to hurt recruiting. It's just something to be aware of. And if you go, why can't I add him? It's only on the first player, and it doesn't matter who it is. If I click on Jennings here, same thing. If I close that from the main list, anytime you click on the first player, it's grayed out. But no matter if you go down and up, or if you go up and down, it brings it back to the ability to toggle. Don't ask me why. I don't know. It just does that. So back to recruiting. What I normally do is I come down here and I just highlight and B, and I'm just going to hit the B button for all of these guys that are interested in my program at all. All right, now we're going to scroll up. There's McMullen. Now, RC, you're hitting a lot of guys onto your list. Yes, I am. I'm trying to hit everyone that is interested. How many people can you put on your call and watch list, RC. It's 50 on each list. Okay, so I have gotten all the way through. Let's just double check. There he is. These are blue. They've been added. It gives me the option to take them off if I want. Okay, now what does that do? Well, now we can come in and say, okay, I want to look at just the guys on my call list. Now these are on call and watch, but maybe your watch list, you add some extra people. Well, then you can see the ones only on your watch list. Now you have to hit update here. So you remember, we put everybody that had a plus sign, but we still have all these negative guys. So let's hit update. Now look, it's only the people that have any interest in us whatsoever. Again, we can sort that, no big deal. Okay, so you basically start off with a master list of every player in the country right here, and then you dial it down as detailed as you want. Maybe you only want to recruit a certain position one at a time. Well, unclick all these guys, hit update, and now you're only looking at point guards. Okay, if you want to look at a minimum of a 3-star rating and a maximum of any, but you want to make sure they have interest in you, there we go. Okay, that's every player in the country that is a point guard that has interest with at least a 3-star rating for that player. Okay, so you can dial this in as much as you want. Later on, if you want to hide the guys that are committed, pop them and take them off of your list. You don't want to recruit JUCO players, hide JUCO players. Okay, so there's all kind of ways that you can get through here and dial in. So all I've done at this point is I have gone through my national or my state list, and I have sorted down to the people that are interested. Okay, we've reached the end of this video. I told you this would be at least 2, maybe more, because I think recruiting is the most detailed thing in the game. We'll come back. We'll pick up right here. I won't even change the screen for you, so don't freak out. You won't have to find your way back to this period, and we will come back here in the next episode, which will also still continue on covering recruiting. Thanks for checking it out, guys. I hope it gave you a little information that maybe you didn't already know. We'll see you next time. Take care.